There's a camera.
So, repeat it for the sake of
it's actually up there. Yeah.
You. These are sentences that are taken, and only sentences that are taken from the last reading and responding SAC on Henry. Now, I understand that pretty much all of us are writing on Henry. Maybe you're considering. Okay. So this is going to be really important and relevant to you. And a lot of these things were fairly common. So I've got some general kinds of feedback at the start, and then we're going to move into improving the sentences. Your job is to find the difficulties or the area, I don't say errors, but the areas of improvement, and then to actually rewrite the sentence. I'll be giving you time to do it. Right, so let's get into some general notes about our performance on the SAC. Just by the way, you'll get these back on Thursday, I believe, and I think the reports are out then as well. Oh, and also, everything that's been submitted in the first file and turned it in, I've given feedback for, so that's done, and I'll be getting through the rest of them very soon as well. Okay. I think we need more reporting verbs. Some of us are using the term highlights, or what is highlighted, far too frequently. I believe I've seen a list of reporting verbs. I think there might be one up in class. In any case, there's one on Iris under the Section C exam lecture PowerPoint that I'll be giving this afternoon, and you'll be seeing me give them this afternoon. And I've got a whole list of them. But you want to broaden your vocabulary. You can't say highlights all the time. You need to say like demonstrates or shows, or the writer conveys, the writer suggests. This infers or this implies. You know, these kinds of words. If you repeat the same word over and over again, it shows that your vocabulary is a bit limited. Lots of people saying that a particular character constantly or consistently does something, or that they do it throughout the text, or that Shakespeare does something throughout the text, and it really just sounds like you don't know what you're talking about. It sounds like you're really not quite sure exactly when it happens. So you really never want to say throughout the text. I don't think you even want to say consistently or constantly. Constantly is just actually incorrect anyway. So if you say Hotspur constantly challenges the verdict of the king, well, that's just not true, because there are scenes in which he isn't there. So how can he constantly do it? So or the prince is constantly of all humans. Well, that's not true, because we don't know what he's doing outside the scenes that he's not there. So you can't say that. So constantly, no more throughout the play. Just say the exact pieces of. Say the exact moments in the text where it happens. The other thing that you can do is you can say precisely when things happen using literary meta language. Anyone remember?
Exposition, like climax action, climax rising.
Yeah, this is good for Shakespeare especially. So exposition, rising action, denouement, these kinds of, or falling action, these kinds of terms. There's an even more basic one, like the basic narrative structure.
Beginning, middle, end.
Yes, and then take the step up from beginning, middle, end. We've got orientation. Oh, really? Come on, you should know this. You should know this. Orientation, complication, climax, and resolution. Write those down. Four of them.
Falling action. No, there's 5, isn't it? That's the other one. Exposition, rising action, climax.
Not
Freytag. Oh, not Freytag? Not Freytag.
We did do that.
Yeah.
We just mentioned that, and I'll give you another one.
Okay, sorry.
It's fine, it's good. So write them down. Orientation. Another word for exposition. Start. because we are orientated towards the characters and the setting. Complication, the problem. In fact, you probably can pinpoint where the complication of the narrative is at least foreshadowed.
When Hotspur refuses to give up.
When Bush
Fantastic, good. I think that's when it's literally mentioned. Yep. So if you, no, that's foreshadowing as well.
Yeah.
But it also happens before that.
when he's talking about it at the start.
The
Much
very start.
The very start.
The very start when he's saying, yeah, like literally the first lines.
Literally the first lines.
Yeah.
So shaken as we are. Yeah. And he's about to be further shaken, isn't he?
That doesn't really are.
Yeah, that's fine. Alright. So that's the complication. The climax. It's pretty easy. Where's the high point in tension?
When they have the conflict of father-son, that's the conflict.
Yeah.
I think that's with the pyramid structure, that's true, but I wouldn't say that that's the high point in tension. Like, we think about what is the point which is the most dramatic, where's the most action? The war. Yeah, the battle of Toothbridge. So, and in fact, there's one moment in that battle which is
When Hotspur.
Hotspur and Hal. Hotspur and Hal's duel. So, I would say that that's probably the climax. There you go. Peg said. And the resolution, probably the last scene. Okay, this is a big tell. Almost everyone used character-based paragraphs, and I think I saw maybe a handful of them that were used well. And when I say well, it's a spectrum. So in terms of, if you're going to rank them 1 to 10, I saw quite a few at the 3 and 4. I saw some near the 7 and 8. I didn't see any at the 9 or 10. So character-based topic sentences they really don't work very well because we fall into lazy thinking habits. We start talking about the literal, concrete, surface level understanding of the play rather than the complex, sophisticated, higher order thinking, the deeper level thinking, which is the values of the play. So we need to be constantly thinking about the play from a conceptual point of view. And to do that, we need to be starting there and continuing there and finishing there. So, topic sentences based on values. There's really no way around it. Just go with it. It's easy. And then you're drawing characters to it. The other, I think I mentioned this last time, but the other problem with basing your paragraph on a character is that you're locked into talking about that character, even if you have a different idea in the topic sentence. So if you have an idea in your topic sentence and a character in the topic sentence, you're locked into talking about that idea with that character, and you can't draw in other characters. So just base it on the idea, and you can draw in multiple characters. So there are a lot of topic sentences that had nothing to do with the essay topic. And what's forgivable is potentially having sentences within the paragraph that you will eventually relate to the essay topic, although that didn't happen sometimes too. But some topic sentences just had nothing to do with the essay at all. That just can't happen. You can't do that. You can't afford to do that, especially for the exam, where the examiner won't bother to hunt the paragraph to try and figure out how it's related to the essay topic. They don't want to do that. They don't have 3 minutes. So in your topic sentences, you make the relationship clear. That needs to happen. Don't talk about values. Sorry, this almost contradicts what I just said. Don't use the term values or leadership traits or honour without saying exactly what you're talking about. A lot of people talked about the leadership traits of Hotspur and Hal without saying what the leadership traits were. you've got to say what they are. You can't talk vaguely. What you show to me when you say the leadership traits of, let's say you give an example, and then you say, we'll get into this a little bit later, how this shows that Hal has leadership qualities of an effective ruler. But you haven't said exactly what the leadership qualities are. You just said vaguely, and you've asserted vaguely that it shows that somehow. Yeah.
So if you're doing, say, our question, and you want to say, and you've given a reference of honour, and you're saying Hal has this, and you've just said that, and you're saying this is a leadership trait, or the trait of the king.
Yes.
Are you allowed to do that, or do you have to say this is one of the leadership traits, and then list off all the others? Or can you just be specific?
Tricky one there, because I'll get to honour in a second. Honour is kind of alone by itself. I'll explain why in a minute. When you're talking about the leadership qualities of an effective ruler, say the Christian worldview, and then talk about the Christian worldview and how that's used. Motivation for an altruistic motivation.
So you would need to list everything else. So if you're talking about the Christian virtues, you have to say this is a part of this subcategory as well as altruistic motivation.
Yes. I think that's the answer to the question.
So you can just come in specifically?
Yeah. So don't talk about leadership qualities generally. Talk about this specific leadership qualities in that paragraph.
But if I do say that's a leadership quality, can I just keep it at that? So I can just say this displays his Christian virtue, and this is a quality Shakespeare sees as a strong trait as a king.
Precisely. So you've got two steps. So step number one, you've got your example. Step number two, you've got what specific value that shows. And step number three is that it makes him an effective ruler. Yeah, I'm with you. So the problem that a lot of people were having was that they missed the second step. They didn't articulate what the leadership quality was. They just went, this example shows that he's an effective ruler without saying the middle bit. But yeah, exactly right. You must do the last bit to answer your question. You must do the last bit too. Say that it makes them an effective ruler. Absolutely. Honour. Now, when you use the term honour, you have to be so careful with Henry, because it's not clear what you mean. If you say that Hotspur is honourable, well, according to whom? Is he honourable according to Falstaff? Well, Falstaff doesn't believe that honour exists or that honour has merit. Set to a leg. Is he honourable according to Hal? Is he honourable according to the king, or does he have his own honour code? So, who defines that view of honour? When we talk about honour, you need to be very specific as to whose definition you're referring to. Okay, catechism. Whenever you use the word catechism, and you should, it's a quote. It's Falstaff himself saying that, this is my catechism. You also need to show that you understand what it means. I wonder if you know. Just give me a shake.
Question and answer. Which one?
There we go. Great. Question and answer dialogue that establishes a worldview. Okay, we're also still having a problem with ignoring the essay topic. Yeah. There were some that I had to mark down significantly because and I guess you can tell when a student has forgotten the essay topic for significant portions of their essay. Now, you might forgive them slightly for maybe one or two sentences in a body paragraph. The best essays never deviate. Every single sentence is relevant. But it's really hard to give a top result or an effective result, or the result that you're going to be happy with if you just ignore it completely. If you forget that you're supposed to be relating this to an essay topic. You know what? In that regard, there were some people who struggled, who have classically struggled with this subject, who honestly saw the essay topic and genuinely responded to it and tried to stick to it. And while their expression wasn't fantastic, and while their fluency wasn't fantastic, I can see that they're actually addressing the essay topic constantly and consistently. And it was so good to see. It was really good to see. Okay, let's look at the topic itself. I'm just going to give you a brief kind of synopsis on what was expected from these topics. What does Shakespeare's Henry IV Part 1 tell us about the nature and exercise of political power? These are the key words here: nature and exercise of political power. Some people repeated the term political power ad nauseum without actually showing me that they understood what that meant. That's tricky. It's about leadership. But these are the ones that are important, and they're different. And the good quality essays showed an understanding of why both of these words were in there rather than just synonyms. They're not synonyms. Nature and exercise as a noun are not synonymous. They're not the same thing. So when you address your essay topic, you have to talk about them as separate things. Nature is obviously what?
How it is.
Factor is source.
How is the source of power? And in this context, the source of power is?
Climate change.
Yes, there we go. Divine right. Great chain of being. Right? So when you're talking about the nature of... Oh, this one's with it. It's pretty fun, isn't it? You're talking about the nature of political power. In this context, in feudal England, you are talking about primogeniture. You're talking about great chain of being. You're talking about... So that was a paragraph right there, at least. In terms of exercise, then you start talking about how the power is used, how the power is gained, how the power is used. See, Richard II has primogeniture. He has the nature. But he doesn't use it well. Bolingbroke uses it well, but he didn't gain it by primogeniture. And so this essay question actually is a lovely way of introducing the fact that Hal is the studied picture of the ideal king, because both of these things come into play. Obviously, what you wanted to base your paragraphs on from the first one. I think this naturally lends itself to a paragraph about primogeniture and about divine right. I think this can be expanded in multiple ways. So Christian worldview, altruistic motivation, etc. And this one, Prince Hale's manipulation. Oh, by the way, if you haven't done that already for the SAC, even if you have, write that again for another practice piece. Yes?
I was just going to say, could we interpret nature in a sort of different way?
People did, yeah.
Yeah, because the way I saw it was that it generally was talking about how they should look at the crown and how they should treat the responsibility as a king, like whether they should see it as a burden or rather as a source of power.
Yeah, I think I remember your specific SAC, and I remember actually commenting on that on your SAC. So yes, that was a valid interpretation of the picture as well. But I think I want to say, I think you just want to be really aware when you're looking at these kinds of questions. It's asking you to talk about them. It's asking you to talk about divine right. You should be able to relate divine right to most of the essay questions. So let's see if we can do it here. How's manipulation and deception of others makes him the least attractive character in Henry IV? Well, there's a clear relationship. He's more attractive because he has divine right. So there's a paragraph. Now, some people forgot to talk about manipulation and deception. There was a huge red flag here. Is he manipulative? Or is he deceptive?
If we define deceptive, it's manipulative as well.
Yeah, are they the same thing? You've got to pick up on this stuff. To be manipulative, sure, you might use a kind of word for it, but he does have a political strategy. Yes. Is he deceptive?
Yeah, dramatic irony. Well, he saves his family, and
See, is that? I think you could call it that. I probably would lean away from that. I think he's in some ways duplicitous, but remember he says he's going to, and some people picked up on this really well, be more himself. So if he is more himself, then he is not a deception. So therefore, he has been a truant, and now he is becoming authentic. So he is less deceptive by that measure and by his own words. Okay, now that was one part, he had to deal with that. And then some people forgot this bit, which was whether or not this makes him attractive or not. Whether he's the least attractive character. There were a couple of different ways you could have gone about this. Some people actually talked about who was the least attractive character. That's great, it's fine, you can do that. Some people talked about where he was in terms of his attractiveness. I think that was really good. It's really important, though, to remember that Shakespeare wants you to see him craft his political strategy to be attractive. That's his whole intent. He's going to manipulate. He's going to shape his public image to make him the most attractive. That's his intent. Does he achieve it? Rising like feathered Mercury. Well, yes, even his enemies declare it. Yes, and thank you, nice, and the king declares it too. Okay, so there are a few different things that you should have articulated in relation to this topic. Okay, so here are the sentences. Here we go. First one. We also see other characters such as Hotspur and Falstaff not only continue to English in various ways, but also shape other... Actually, that should be England. Oh no! Okay, I can't remember. It might be English in various ways, but also shapes the other characters into their rise towards the ruling of England. Just note down now. Just write down. What are some things that need to be improved here?
Does that contribute actually? Did they actually write that?
No, this is me kind of maybe postulating as to what they meant.
Is this one our house?
Don't worry about if we did it. It's not relevant. What are you writing?
I should really I like that. What's the question?
That's mine. I apologize. Thank you. Yeah, here you go. All right. You got a couple? Anyone want to suggest?
The least
Just vague.
Other characters.
It's a bit vague.
And Hotspur and Falstaff are
Wait.
important characters.
Wait.
Yeah.
Themselves
Same
about
other characters. Other characters. That could be anyone. That could be.
Right. So it needs to be specific in terms of which characters. Yep. The we. Yep. Absolutely. Fantastic. In fact, I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but that's a good one.
They can repeat other characters, so just think of another way to say it. Does it say other characters at the start and then say other characters again?
Yep. Cool. There's repetition of other characters. Patrick. You learned it, Patrick? You should be able to answer that question, Patrick. Various ways. Yeah, okay. And then that one too. Alright, so, we, well done. What do we need?
The audience.
The audience. Witnesses. Vagueness. Other characters. Completely unnecessary. Say specific. This was actually something that a lot of people, in fact, most of the people in this class need to pay attention to. Say specifically who the characters are. Who are the characters that you mean? Don't even say the term other characters. Maybe don't even say the term characters. Just say what the characters' names are. Be as specific as you can. Or identify them as a group.
Is it okay if we do that?
call them the rebels? Or?
Yes, absolutely. You should, that's it. I'm good. Yeah. This one also here, various ways. And what this person has told me is that they don't know what the ways are. They know that there are ways, but they can't articulate what they are. And this kind of ties in with what I was saying about leadership qualities and traits and values and all those kinds of things.
Yep. Is that even really true?
Is it true?
Contributing to England?
There was a difficulty there in terms of language. I think that contribute to England in various ways, maybe. Yeah. Irrelevance. Whether or not it contributes to England or not is kind of irrelevant to the essay topic.
What do you mean contributes to England?
Right.
Which topic?
Yeah, I don't know. If I could, I think that's what I mean. So it might contribute to England, but how is it relevant? Evelyn, characters into their rise. That's a plural of textual inaccuracy. Do characters rise to the ruling of England? No. Which one? How does. So multiple characters do not rise. That's a textual inaccuracy. Okay, next one. Oh, how to fix it? What's the heartbeat of this that's worth keeping? What needs to be said here?
Shape. That Hotspur and Falstaff assist in shaping how we're going to be.
There we go. Great. Yeah. And I'd break that up. Good point. I'd break that up into how specifically Hotspur does. How does Hotspur do it?
He's character foil. So he is everything that Hans did. Oh, just feed of voice and stuff. Kenny and then Falstaff is everything that he must reject.
I probably should get you guys writing this down. The next one I'm going to ask you to actually write the sentence. Alright, next one, go. The play questions the source of legitimacy arising from the laws of primogeniture, where the crown is passed through the generations of a family, and the importance of the people's support. What are the problems with it?
Many ideas.
Yeah. And they come from personalities as well.
Which is just separated into two different questions.
In opposition.
Write that sentence.
Yeah.
Every big word in the book, you just chuck it in.
The inside the comma we did is really unnecessary.
First of all, the play doesn't question.
Bang.
Give me a bit.
What family though?
Okay. Yeah. So legitimacy. Legitimacy of the use of English language. Legitimacy of a person's moral character. Could be anything. Legitimacy could be anything. Just legitimacy of anything. The person hasn't specified, so we can't speculate. What does the person mean?
Sort of the legal legitimacy.
Okay, that works. Yep. The legality. This might be a better substitute. Is it the source of legality arising?
The source.
No, but the source and arising are kind of
I wrote this.
It's
the
the
same
same.
idea.
Yeah. Because it's saying the source is the law of
Yeah.
and saying it's a right.
So it's one of those things that's redundant.
Shouldn't it just be the play explores the legitimacy of the law of primogeniture?
as
What
opposed
was
to
that?
the
Talk
quantity
about
of
legitimate
people.
and the primogeniture, and then the crown passed through its generations, which is basically the same thing.
Right, there's a lot of redundancy here. So there's redundancy in terms of those three things articulated. Sorry, the one thing articulated 3 times. The rising from and the source of is an overlap. The verb, you should be able to identify this, by the way. You should know what I'm talking about when I say this. The verb and subject of the last dependent clause are unclear. Because we've done clauses, and some of your writing is so unclear because you don't understand clauses. So it would serve you well to understand what a clause is
that the last?
And how to use it.
The clauses are the subject, the object.
Yes. Somebody knows. Subject, verb, object. It is the most basic structure or sentence structure. Okay. So you have dependent clauses and independent clauses within a sentence. Independent clauses can sit by themselves as sentences. Ollie, focus. Dependent clauses need other parts. So when I say the last dependent clause, obviously your eyes go to the end of the sentence. So what's the last dependent clause? And the importance of the people's support. Now, that's an object. It needs a verb. Where's the verb?
Questions.
So the play questions the importance of the people's support. That's probably best case scenario, but then it's got all of this stuff in the middle.
It's listing. It's listing what the play questions.
Yes, it is. But it's got this thing in the middle.
Would you explain one of the 2 points?
It's really hard to understand what this person means. So the base clause. Who questions, by the way? Shakespeare questions what? How are we going to improve this?
The legitimacy
The legitimacy
Of the law of
primogeniture.
primogeniture as a term.
derived from the law of primogeniture, yes.
And the importance of people's support. And then if you want to explain...
Would you say it in contrast?
Yeah, because would you need to explain it anyway?
And that would be fine. If you just had and the importance of the people's support, or the support of the common folk. But why not make a new sentence? Just make a new sentence. Different idea, different sentence. Make it clear.
Yep.
This was true of about half of people's essays. Sentences are just too long and your meaning is not clear. You lose nothing, Cooper, by shortening your sentence. Okay, there was one other. Oh no. No, there wasn't. Okay, great. Write it down. Write it down in the improved sentence. Go.
So we're just cutting out the word crown.
Give me 1 minute.
Do we cut
You should have
out-
already done it. You should be doing it while we're speaking.
do we cut out the questions legitimacy? I know, I've got it written down. Okay.
Let's see if this works.
They always start.
Hey! There's our verb. This is our subject, but it's the wrong subject. By the way, there's only one law of primogeniture. It's the law of inheritance, or the law of all primogeniture. So let's go with that. Object. Now, this explanation is fine. It's actually good. But then it confuses the next part. So, new sentence. You're writing this down, by the way. I'm helping you write it down. Now, just pick up your pen. Okay. Then we're going to say something else. For a new subject, new verb. Have you written 2 sentences? You need to say this thing. Alright. Additionally, play explores, highlights, play demonstrates, the play celebrates the beginnings of democracy, the genesis of democracy. Hey, we're getting good now. It's fun.
Goodness. Genesis.
Hey, does it go away? Gross. Okay.
Or you just do a circle around it, and then tap it in the middle.
Yeah.
Just do a circle around it.
Wrong one.
No, just this one.
Maybe it's on the right.
No. On
Maybe
the
it's on
other
the
end.
right
The other end. Use the other end. Do a big circle around it.
I don't
and
think
the whole
they tap it.
Oh, I just, okay.
Yeah.
Magic.
Sweet.
Do a big circle and tap it in the
It's
middle.
kind of rubbery though.
Yeah.
Go big circle. No. And then tap in the middle.
Yeah.
Big circle around it.
Big circle. Tap.
No.
No.
It's just
Next. Still in the introduction. Shakespeare endorses the way Henry. Oh, I haven't finished writing it down. Whoops.
Vagueness, yes.
That was from the last.
No.
It's from
That was the last
What have I done?
Next one. Just keep going.
Skip. I don't know what I've done there.
No, let's go back. Let's try and.
Okay. Topic sentence. This is a topic sentence.
Unfinished.
Shakespeare explores the need for political acumen in kings through the portrayal of Prince Hal. What's the problem?
Prince Hal what? Like you need to describe what Prince Hal does that
What's wrong with that one? That was
exploring political
Okay. So we'll get hands. We'll get suggestions. So what's Nicholas? What needs fixing here?
What's Prince Hal being portrayed as in the last one? Like, this is the portrayal.
Right.
Wouldn't you go on to explain that in the next sentence? Because that would make
It's the
I'd say there's a better word for portrayal. Yeah, a more specific word for portrayal. Yep.
In the play, he's not a king, he's the prince.
Oh.
Well, no, that's just
Really good. I reckon it's 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it actually says that they are. He is a king. It says that it shows that
Kings
needs.
No, I mean.
The kings need to have political acumen.
I'm just saying it needs to describe Prince Hal's.
Yes. Nice man. Sorry.
It needs to describe Prince Hal's actions that explore the need for political acumen. It's not through his portrayal; it's through his doing action.
Yeah. So a specific part of his characterization.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too vague.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. What else?
It is a topic sentence. Like you're not meant to. Like the next one can explain.
You're right, Emily, and thank you for saying it. Now, this is the balance. You do want your topic sentence to be general, but some of these aren't actually saying anything. So you need to draw this balance between not being vague and not being too narrow. You need to say something meaningful. It's actually not that hard. You just articulate an idea. So I should be able to point to a word that implies an idea. There should be an abstract noun there. Is there an abstract noun here? Yes! It's right here. Good. Fantastic. I can. So does it achieve the basic requirements of a topic sentence? Yes, that's not the problem. It does. Okay, so this is too vague. political acumen kings. I'm not quite sure if this person knows what political acumen means. What specifically are they referring to? Because there's a lot of things that they could mean by political acumen. A lot of ways in which someone is either clever at being a politician or not. So strategy is one of them. Public appearance is another. This in kings as well. Is it in kings? Of kings? Do I need that at all? What do I mean?
In kingship.
Is it in the kingship? No.
It's not.
Political acumen of the monarch.
I think it's still a bit kind of awkward.
The monarch's political acumen.
Yes. The monarch needs to have political acumen. But notice where we restructured that. Clarity.
Monarch
Okay.
needs to have.
There's a missed opportunity to use meta language. Betrayal. What's a better word? Yes. Characterization. Use every opportunity you have. Most times when you... it's not terrible, but characterization works better, I think. Most examples give you the opportunity of using a piece of meta language. So use it. Okay. So how do we fix it? I don't think it needs to be changed overtly. Is it succinct? Yes. Is it clear?
Yes.
Mostly. Let's fix it. Go. I'll ask random. I'll ask four.
Just some pull up something.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly random, maybe. Shouldn't take it long, that one. Here you go, Olive.
Yeah, I'm still good characterization.
That's nice. Lucas, do you want to give it a crack?
Not yet. Sorry.
Go no. Can I recommend that you don't add any words? Change words, but don't make it longer. Short is good for topic sentences because they're clear. Did you Nick?
Here we read.
Yeah.
Shakespeare explores the political acumen of a monarch through Hell's characterization.
Next. King Henry's royal court becomes the realm for which competent kingship is explored because it is emblematic of Henry's effective rule. First of all, what's nice?
Good words.
I like the words. Some good expression.
It's cute.
Sorry? It's cute. Okay, cool.
It's hard to train.
Okay. What needs help?
Yeah, he said focus on this a little bit as to what competent kingship is and how it is emblematic of effectiveness.
Is it talking about the nature of effective rule?
It's talking about the how it shows King Henry's.
Yeah, but is it talking about the nature of effect? I'm talking about the answer topic here. Is it talking about the nature of effective rule? No. Is it talking about the exercise of effective rule?
It is trying to.
What is it saying?
It's trying to say that
Instead of because of it,
royal.
because it is emblematic, it should be through the behaviour of the king, through the...
There's no idea. All it says is, this is where you can see it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say what you can see.
Well, that's the point of last one, emblematic of Henry's effective rule, but that's not explained.
It doesn't say what you can see.
Yeah.
It just says what the effective rule is, which is literal rewording, or not even a rewording, a literal, the wording of the essay topic. So this topic sentences has said nothing. It's articulated no idea. There's no concept here to be explained. There's just a physical setting on the stage that has been posited. So therefore, there's no argument. And if there's no argument, there's no essay. This is why a topic sentence is so crucial. Because everything falls apart if the topic sentence doesn't articulate a point of logic. All of a sudden, what you're doing is, instead of crafting the point of view, you're just popping random stuff on the page. And it might be great stuff. It might be really good stuff. It might be true stuff. That's true. But it's not going to give you any marks.
Are there many more?
There are a couple more. We might continue tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. We're on YouTube.